Hello, good morning. Just thought I would share a few words this morning, and it's really come to my attention. I guess I've come to the realization that perhaps I'm only really speaking to very few people, because my message is not one of to calm the people that I'm talking to, but maybe sometimes it's a message to alarm the people that I'm talking to into recognizing that we truly don't know who we are, and so we're running our lives often from an old place, from a place of fear, or a place of expectation, or a place of self-pity, or a place of complaint, a place of in the personas. I was talking to a fellow this morning, and he was coming from his patterns, from his personas, from his behaviors, and he said, "How can you tell that I'm coming from the place?" And my answer was, "Well, where else could you be coming from? Where else could you be talking from if it's not from your personas or your or your behaviors?" So I'm really only interested, I think, in talking to those of you who want to have a new way to live. If you're interested in a connection with that inner awakenedness, that inner connection, that inner God, that inner well, it seems that my old teacher Paul used to say, you can't find it by looking for it, but you won't find it if you don't look for it. And so what is it I'm talking about? The oneness, the isness, the and many of us would have no idea what we're talking about. I remember I spent years with Paul. He was my teacher for years, Paul Lowe, and I think of the patience he must have had with us, because I didn't know what he was talking about. I just didn't know, and so until it happened for me, until I saw, and I realized that I had been living my whole life trying to manage, trying to fit in, trying to be enough, trying to organize my life so it worked, and that I wasn't in the flow. I wasn't in the stream of life, really. I was often hanging onto the edges. I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to make it fit me, as opposed to being in life and in the flow and in this oneness, my natural state. So until we find our natural state of love, our natural state of acceptance, our natural state of peace, then our state will be of ego. Our state will be of not enough. Our state will be of trying to hang on to things. Our state will be of resistance. So if you're living in resistance to what is, if you're living in fear of what you imagine, then you're not in the state. That that there's something else to be found. So that's my message, and it just keeps coming clearer and clearer to me. And I'm being, I recently discovered a book I've had on my shelf for years, waiting for me. It's called This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes. And those of you who know, Ernest Holmes was this was written in the 40s, I think, and he was the author of also The Science of Mind, and lots of people have studied Ernest Holmes for years, but he'd been on my shelf for a long time, and I finally found him. Hey, Sharon, Sherry, Kim, And thanks for dropping by, you guys. So many of us just kind of, our goal is to just kind of get through life, just to be safe, to be, to just do enough to be through life. And what if the possibility here was to actually surrender to this power that's within us in each moment, to experience this oneness in this plane? What if we came here actually to experience being human, but also to experience this oneness from the human state? To recognize that we are that oneness. That is our natural state. And that until we're in that state, till we're in, and often, like the man who I spoke to this morning said, well, how do you know that I'm not in it? And it's, well, because you're in resistance. You're in fear. And when we're in our ego, our ego's so persistent to say, I've got this. Ego doesn't really want us to wake up. Ego doesn't want us. It has taken over the position, and it does not want to give up. It does not want to surrender. So recognize it if you're experiencing fear. Now, I'm not saying that fear is wrong or bad, or I'm just saying watch. It's a signpost. Oh, I'm stuck in thought. I'm stuck in perception. I'm trying to manage my life, and so fear is often a signpost of that. If you're in complaint, or if you're talking to somebody and they're in complaint, then you know that actually they're not really there. And many of us have conversations, and it's all about complaint or fear or judgment. And so nobody's really there. It's just the personas, the two egos talking to each other. Ha ha ha. So waking up, meditate. We have so much available to us today to be with the masters. They've been telling us over and over again, listen to Ram Dass. Listen to Mooji. Mooji's so good at pointing the way, or actually just do the 12 steps of the 12-step program. They lead to an awakened state. They do. And many of us come to the 12 steps and resist. Here it is, we've been living in misery. We couldn't make things work. We couldn't have relationships. We couldn't be financially successful. All of those things were falling apart. And we couldn't be the dads and the mums we wanted to be. All of that. And because we were coming from ego. And here were these beautiful 12 steps that have saved millions. They've brought millions to a spiritual experience and awakening. Millions to an awakening. And we say, no, I don't think so. No, I'd rather stay in this complaint. I'd rather stay in this anger. I'd rather stay in this fear. Whatever. We're asleep, dreaming we're awake. Wake up. So I was saying Ram Dass, Mooji, Alan Watts, beautiful people who've come and shared. Eckhart Tolle, beautiful. Anyway, there's just it's endless of the teachers that are available to us, and have shared a message of awakening. So you guys, that's it. I just wanted to, just came to me to tell you, anytime you're in complaint, anytime you're in anger, know that it's ego. Know that it's ego. And that when we're at peace, we feel this amazing peace, this, know that then we're having, we've lifted up. We've lifted up. And we're in a more of a connection, or our natural state is peace. Our natural state is serenity. Our natural state is love. And we can be there, but knowing, being aware that that we can't really trust our own mind. Our own mind lies to us. Yes. So know that we can't trust that and say, gosh, I can't trust my own mind. I can't trust my own thinking. And we cannot have a spiritual experience and still stay in the mind. We have to let it go. We have to surrender it. We have to surrender our fears and our selfishness. Okay? That's it. So if you're still here and you're still watching this and you're who I want to speak to. Hey, Ashley, love you. So just be the love, you guys. Be the love. All right. So those of you who came late, I'm finished. I just wanted a short talk to just hello, wake up. Here are the things that tell you you're asleep. If you're in anger, if you're in fear, if you're in complaint, if you're in judgment, you're asleep. You're living in ego. So we want to live in a higher state. Sometimes we have to just reach up. We have to pray. We have to say, God, help me to wake up. Really. And when we start that, through prayer, through meditation, through listening to the spiritual teachers, through, the David Hawkins of the world, then we do wake up. We can wake up. It can happen. It's so close. It's just right there. And then our life becomes about love and service. Not what can I get, but how much can I give? Where can I give? How can I serve? Show me, God, show me in each day, how can I make a difference here to help others? Okay, you guys. I love you. Love you, love you. Thank you. Call anytime. Cheers.